Hey, everybody. Thanks for jumping on. We are here this morning. Jim Lambright, 25 years in the business, huge agent back in Ohio. We're going to have a great discussion, some good training tips, good nuggets. Stick around. Here we go. Jim, good morning.
Good morning. I love that intro, man. That is awesome. I gotta get myself one of those. That's beautiful.
You know, traveling around the world. That's what it's all about, man. Building the memories.
Time is more important than money, right? But without money, the time can suck if you have too much time on your hands. So you gotta
exactly. I hear you. No, I've been there. Made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, building my business. Definitely. Hurt some things as far as family and all that kind of stuff. Finally came to my senses and. We figured it out. So anyway, it's
the best lessons are the ones that cost you the most money. Those are the ones that I always tell people. You never forget the ones that cost you a bunch of money, right?
Exactly. So, man, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. You and your wife working together back there in Ohio. Tell your story, man. 25 years doing this. 1997, right?
We're a team. We're a husband-wife team in real estate. Stacey's not on here actually right now because she's doing real estate. You might even see her buzz around past here and behind going on, stuff like that. So she let me jump on here and do all the talking. The guy that's full of all the hot air. But Stacey started our real estate business in 97. I met her in 2000. I was in sales. I hated my job. She would sell a house and everybody loved her, right? I would sell something and people thought I screwed them over. And she said, why don't you come with me? We decided to have a baby, start a family. We're efficient, man. We got after it. Met in 2000, had a baby in 2000, and we just went for it. And it's been an incredible ride. Of course, real estate, in the 2000s, up before the crash, a trained monkey could sell real estate, right? He just put a sign in the yard and they sold. People were churning houses, right? We're in the Columbus, Ohio marketplace, which was growing anyways. People were churning houses and things were great. We thought, man, it's always going to be this easy. We'd put away a lot of money. We invested in real estate. And in 2008, the unthinkable happened, right? I don't know about you, Jeff, but when somebody even says the year 2008, I wet myself a little bit. I have PTSD from that, like what is going on? We went from 24 million a year in sales to 6 million overnight.
Yeah.
75% of our income gone overnight. Our investment properties that we had, we thought we were in them right? We'd put 20% down like you're supposed to do, but nope. When the market tanked at 40% across the board and all the tenants we had moved back home with mommy and daddy, it was bad. The bank still wanted their money. Isn't that weird, Jeff? Like the bank still wants their money. The tenants aren't paying the rent, but the bank still wants the money. What happened with that?
What's up with that?
Yeah. Wait, we don't have people paying. The banks didn't care. And there was a time, some of the lowest point of our life we got to where we were bleeding to the tune of 18 grand a month, where what coming in wasn't covering, it was going out. That's how far we were in the red. It was brutal. Yeah. We spent all our retirement trying to stay afloat. We stayed in the game. A lot of people got out of real estate. We had over 8,000 realtors here in Central Ohio, got down to 2,400 during that crash. And we stayed in the game. We pivoted. We started doing short sales. My wife is a short sale master. Oh my gosh. When you take a look at her, how pretty she is and things like that, you'd never know she can negotiate that hard and just punch these banks in the mouth and getting these deals done. Yeah. And she's going to be mad at me for saying that, but it's true. She did. Yeah. She would let them have it. I remember one time she went all the way to the Secretary of HUD to get a deal done. She went to ABC and CBS investigative units before to force a bank to leverage a bank, not force, to actually take a look at a short sale that really needed to be done. Amazing stuff. Anyways, it kept us alive, man. Short sales, they sucked. They cut our commissions. We had one took 2.5 years, had 17 liens on it to get it done.
2.5 years?
2.5 years.
Oh,
so the guy was an attorney. He knew how to game the system. Mm-hmm. And so he kept filing motions and keeping fending off the foreclosure, but relying on us to work with the loss mitigation department to get the short sale done. So he didn't have to get a foreclosure on there. Amazing story, crazy, but 2.5 years. So that's our claim to fame. I think probably the longest short sale. I don't know anybody that's had one longer than that. If they are, maybe they can comment in here on some of their horror stories on your Facebook page there or something like that. But we stayed afloat. right? And we weathered, of course, real estate made a comeback. There's probably a lot of agents out here who are going to be watching it going, what the heck are they talking about? Real estate's not hard. If you've got in the last 10 years, like got your license the last 10 years, you think real estate's always going to be easy, right? Right now, we're back to the same old thing. Trained monkey could sell real estate. People get mad.
Getting the listings like printing money right now, you know?
It is,
I mean,
right? You put a sign in the yard, you got multiple offers and things. We are seeing the market start to shift a little bit, but I don't foresee a 2008 coming, right? So here's what happened to Stacey and I. Back to our story on it. We spent all our retirement. You know, I was in my 50s at 2012 when the market's coming back, right? And we're doing well again, but I'm doing the math. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to retire. We spent all our retirement before to stay afloat. What are we going to do? We're going to have to sell houses until we die. I did the math. We can't make enough unless we just do the old Dave Ramsey, don't go on vacation, don't go to dinner, don't do anything, and literally work just to save, to put away.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not a life. That's not a life we don't want to do. We want to live our life, right? And, you know, we had been with all the big brokers and stuff like that. And then a friend of ours talked to us about EXP. And when I saw it, I go, here is the way to retire. To not save towards retirement. You can save towards retirement, but to build your way towards retirement. It's a much better way of doing it. And when we saw it, we couldn't unsee it. And I remember how mad Stacey was when I made her look at it, because we loved our old broker. We were with an independent, 100% commission broker, right? And she punched me. She said, now we have to leave our broker. Not that we wanted to leave. She goes, now we have to leave. Yeah. And we saw it. It's been an amazing ride ever since. And amazingly, one of the best parts of the whole story is, of course, EXP has the ownership in the company, right? Through stock. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars in stock, 5-figure residual checks from our revenue share that we're making and things like that. And 100% plus commission through the Icon program, which we get all of our commission back, or all of our split back, plus in stock. You know, when the stock goes up, you actually earn better than 100% commission split, the healthcare plan, lead, and everything. But here's what we did not know would happen. This is the most amazing part of the story. If you're an agent and you're watching this and you haven't heard any of my caffeine-addled speak before, here's what you want to hear. Last year, in the middle of a pandemic, we grew our business, increased our revenue, grew the size of our organization, and we spent 3 months in the islands, the Virgin Islands and in Puerto Rico. For 3 months, not 3 months consecutive. We bounced around. We do 2 weeks here, 10 days there, 2 weeks here and there.
Sure.
But we were able to, because COVID, as awful as it was and as bad as it harmed people, what it did for our real estate industry, when you couple it with EXP's tools, is it gave us our time back. It gave us our time back. We grew our business while not being here. And the way it worked is we built a community of like-minded agents. This doesn't get talked about enough, I think, Jeff. In when people talk about EXP, right? They're all talking about the recruiting, this, that. No, it's this. There's other agents who think exactly like you, that literally want to make more money, but they don't want to have more time put into it. Right. And so what we do is able to build a community of like-minded agents, and all of us do what's called CYA. Cover your butt, right? On there. And so what happens is we set up this group. If you've got to go to or you want to go to a barbecue or a wedding or something like that, or bar mitzvah or something, and how many of you out there have had to miss a life event because you have a showing you have to do? Somebody wants to see 123 Main Street. Well, we've set it up where we have our own little private Facebook Messenger group, and we'll say, hey, who can show 123 Main Street for me Saturday at 2:00? And then we'll Venmo them cash based on what it takes. Used to be $35, Jeff. Now the gas price has gone up. We're up to like $50 now. If it keeps going, now we're gonna have to pay $100 per showing eventually. But it's been amazing. We've gotten our time back. Yeah. So Stacey and I would be in the islands. We'd get a buyer lead, and we could have one of our buyers show it, and we can write the contract from down there. And these people are partners of ours, not necessarily on our team. We're not their team lead. We're not taking any of their money. They're full-fledged partners, and we do the same for them when they want to go on vacation.
Nice.
So I've got this group of happy agents that are all full partners with us, and we cover them. They cover us. It is an amazing community of like-minded agents that all want the same thing. So that's
That's
probably way
awesome.
more than you were asking for. You and people,
No, that's a
that.
great setup because I mean most of us again we're also tied to our business. I mean I remember
By
again
the way,
back
that's
in the
not
day.
beer for realtors are out there like,
There
wow,
you
he's
go.
drinking beer already first thing in the morning. No, it's not beer, it's
Yeah,
some water.
there you
Go
go.
ahead.
Now I remember back in the day again. I got two daughters. They were 6 and 3 when I started, my business in real
Yeah.
estate, and I wanted my wife to be home with the kids. It was all on me. So I mean I busted myself. Had a got plugged into a really good coaching program. Did 32 deals my first year. Did 72 my third year. By myself. My wife got her license in '05 because it was just more than I could handle. My God, I was dying and just screwing up deals, missing deadlines. It was just stupid. But during that time, I remember too. It's like I remember a Sunday afternoon. We were at the movies with our kids. Sunday afternoon, family time, whatever. We take the kids and go see what Shrek or whatever it was. And I remember sitting there in the theater. All of a sudden, my phone rings, and of course I got my ringer off. But you see it. You don't answer it. It rings again, same number. Rings again, third time. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so I'll be right back. I duck out, cross over everybody, sneak out of the movie, go out into the lobby, call them back, whatever. Hey, I just missed 3 calls from this number, whatever. And it's a buyer. And of course, they're out in front of a house. Well, I'm at the movies with my kids. I can meet you in a couple hours. Well, yeah, but we got this and whatever. And, you wrestle with that. Like what I do. Do they have a house to sell? Whatever. This could be a $20,000 afternoon with my kids. So, you wrestle with that as a realtor, and I remember going in, honey, I gotta go, I'll be back in an hour, and leaving the movie, going to show the home, whatever, and doing all this kind of stuff. And oh my God, I hated it. And I just remember my kids. One day I had my kids at the park, and same situation, had to leave. We got to go home, whatever. I got to take off and do real estate. And I remember my oldest daughter, she was probably like 6 or 7 at that point, whatever. And she literally like just stomped her foot down. I hate real estate.
Yep. They know, right?
They
Kids
totally know. And it's just like, man, that's, as a dad, like, it was just like, what does that say to the kids? They don't understand the money part. They don't understand how it all works. All that says to them is that's more important than we are. And that's hard. That's a hard place to be, whatever. And so there's so much resentment that can build and all this stuff. We finally figured it out. Thank God we got through all that and, got our lives back because we were able to build, couple of their businesses and multiple streams of income and freed ourselves up in different ways, whatever. We'll talk more about that later. But real quick, let's go to the market here real fast. Cause I mean, again, it's been a crazy market the last couple of years. I mean, I know out here, I haven't looked at our numbers here in Colorado Springs. I know Denver, I think it was like last week, there were 50 homes, right around 50 homes that went to sale, foreclosure. If you go back 2 months ago, it was about 10 homes, like 10 homes a week. We're up to about 50 homes a week up there. Things are starting to go that direction a little bit. So you were talking about short sales, Stacey being the short sale queen. You did a great training for us, which, by the way, guys, if you're watching this and you want a copy of an hour-long mastermind training we did yesterday with our group on short sales, if you've never done one, and it's something that's making its way back, like, let me know. I can send you that video. It was a phenomenal training. Thank you guys very much again for what you gave to us yesterday. But talk a little bit about that. Where do you see things going right now with the market? I mean, none of us have the crystal ball, but what are you looking at?
So Wayne Gretzky was asked a long time ago. He was asked the question like, "How can you be such a good hockey player? You're just so much better than everybody else." And he said, "Well, here's the deal." He goes, "Most hockey players skate to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going." And so he was always watching and seeing the whole field and going to where it's going. And that's what you got to do in real estate. So Stacey and I started doing short sales in 2006. Our broker at that time, which shall remain nameless on here, right? But told us it's impossible to do. We had title companies would not take the business from us. In fact, we're going to a title company birthday party here in a little bit. 18 years. They've been in business. We met them on year 1, and it's 17 years we've been doing business with them, and we've been loyal to them ever since because they were the only ones in the entire city that would do short sales in '06 because everybody said, it's impossible to sell a house short and get the seller forgiven of the debt. You can't do it. And so we took some classes from a couple agents from Salt Lake City, Utah, believe it or not. They taught a 2-day course. And we got in there and took those classes and we learned about it. And we were able to do it and started doing it before anybody else started doing it. It was a buzzword in '08 and everybody heard of them by then. But in '06, no one had ever heard of that. And so we were ahead of the game. So let's get back to where we're going now. But a lot of agents are probably watching this going, short sales, are you kidding me? I put a sign in the yard. My clients have, my average client made $55,000 in equity, I think was the number CoreLogic put out, right? The average client that bought last year has made $55,000 right now. If they bought last year across America. Mm-hmm. That's true. But there are going to be some people, they're going to have bad things happen to them. Look, bad things happen all the time. They get sick, they get cancer, they get hit by a car, they're going to be in a wheelchair the rest of their life. They, God forbid, a divorce. All kinds of horrible things can happen.
Job losses.
And they're buying at the top of the market. Yeah. What happens, agents who are watching this, what happens if your client who got in a multiple offer bidding situation, right? They won the bid, they're ecstatic. What happens if tomorrow, God forbid, but something just awful happened to them and they had to sell, right? Mm-hmm. There's a chance they may not have enough equity to be able to sell it. They'd have to do what's called a short sale, right? They'd have to do that. And so while they're not real big right now, it pays to learn about them and become a professional on how to do them for when the market starts to correct. Now, for those of you who are out there, naysayers and chicken littles, right? The sky's falling. None of us foresee another 2008 coming. That was a completely different scenario. Back then, we had too much inventory. Now it's the opposite. We don't have enough inventory. It's just prices are going up. But eventually it will plateau. But we don't foresee another problem again where it crashes like that. It was just the lending practices and stuff back then made for that to be able to happen. So what are we going to see happen? We're going to see once the market starts to correct, some people will need to be able to do short sales. You're going to have a choice as an agent. You can either get really good at it and study it and learn it and take the classes and invest in it, become a certified distressed property expert, right? Or become a foreclosure resource, or refer it out to people that know how to do it. Because here's the thing about it. If you're not good at it, you can financially damage someone for a long time. If you don't know how to negotiate a deficiency waiver to get that going, to get their debt forgiven, if they're upside down 50 grand in their house, that's going to hang over their head, even though the sale gets done. And you, the agent, are happy because you got paid and you walked away. Look, your job is to get that deficiency waived. That is your job. You could force your people into bankruptcy or worse. Or if you're not really good doing a short sales, that house could foreclose. And now you just put a foreclosure on your people because of, let's just say your deficiencies in knowing how to do it, right? Right. We're not going to say malpractice, but you need to, if you're going to do short sales, go and learn. If not, just meet short sale agents in your area. And if you can't find any, Stacey and I do them across the country. You'd be the listing agent in your local place. You'd list it, and we take a referral fee split depending on the deal, and we work the back end for you with the banks. So that's a good deal on that.
I think this the key is, just over the years I've just seen this, the market, it's always shifting. There's always new things coming along. I think, the good agents adjust. You adjusted. There were a lot of agents that had to get out. I know here in town, I think at one point we dropped to like 2,800 agents back in 2009, 2010, whatever. We're, from like 4,000 to 2,800. We're back up to whatever, 4,500 here in town now. Everybody and their mother's gotten their license in the last, couple of years, whatever. But again, it's just, like there's not a lot to sell. If we start going down that road, it's just another tool in the toolbox that can keep you ahead of the game and, keep money coming into your business. Because most agents are out of business in a couple, 2-3 months if there's no closings. I mean, that's
we just took a short sale referral the other day. Just to your point on that, it was a $75,000 a kid, a young man, kid to me, right? I'm in my 50s, a young man in his young 20s had taken on this rehab project, right? He had no idea how big it is. It bled him dry, right? He had watched one of those infomercial things about how easy it is to fix and flip. And I can laugh about it now because the story has a happy ending. But it was bad. He was in trouble. Here he is in his 20s. He's upside down. He had taken all these loans out and things like that to try to fix this place. And it was just way over his head. And he was going to be in trouble in his 20s. It was going to set him back until he's 40 years old before he could ever buy again and get that debt off of him, and probably have to file bankruptcy and everything like that. So we were able to step in. Stacey took 7 months to get it done. If you're watching this and you think short sale means quick sale, it does not.
No.
It means the bank is being shorted money. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 times longer than a normal sale, just so you know that. All right. Anyways, she was able to negotiate that, able to get an investor from out of state to buy it, who does this thing, who rehabs these properties. It was actually featured on, what was that house featured on? Old Homes, Stacey, or something like that? I don't think Old Houses, right? Which was cool. It got like 400,000 likes or views
Oh,
or
wow.
something like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's this historic house from the 1800s. And they're going to fix it up, turn it into a bed and breakfast. They had the money and stuff to put behind it. The hundreds of thousands of dollars are going to get it going. But anyways, here's the story. We were able to get that kid out, young man, no debt. He'd have to pay. It damaged his credit a little bit, but he was already behind on his payments when we got it. But Stacey was able to get both sides of the transaction, and the investor paid an inducement on the property extra. He's able to make an $8,000 commission on a $75,000 property. Was it worth it? Yeah, of course. You know, in Central Ohio, that's a good commission.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's the good agents adjust. You know, you adjust as you go, and you have to adjust. I think one of the things, my wife yesterday, she was in Denver. She took a class yesterday. Crypto is a big thing coming in, and we're starting to learn that with real estate. And let me say this, I think it's one of the things, just to talk about EXP here for a second, it's one of the things I love about this. I feel like we're ahead of the game as a company. I think Glenn is a visionary, our founder. He's one of those visionary people. I think we're doing things. I'm seeing companies out there start to implement things that we've been doing for the last couple, 2-3 years. I think there's things that we're implementing right now that 2 or 3 years from now, other companies are going to be like, hey, we need to start doing this. I think that's just kind of where we are, I think, as a company. And I'm grateful to be here because I just feel like we're Colorado. I think our broker is our state broker here. She's the only one right now. She's the first broker in the state to be like, I don't know, what certified or something. She's got all the training she needs to be able to do the crypto stuff here, and I don't know what all that entails and what all that means, but she's just, we're doing trainings on like weekly right now. And it's a big thing coming in. Most people just, again, it's another tool in the toolbox. We're starting to see that. Are you doing anything with that right now back there? Is there anything, are you aware of what's going on with that back there?
I've been watching a ton of that stuff that's going on. Ohio's not really the hotbed of that, but something
Sure.
we do have that's coming in is we have Intel, who's going to build a chip plant less than 2 miles from our house out here in a beautiful area where they do a lot of commercial on it. And they're going to be bringing in all these high-paying jobs and things like that. Well, why is that exciting? Because EXP is on the forefront of relos. So we're going to have all these California reload people coming in who are used to paying $1,000 a square foot, who are going to get here to Ohio where it's $250, $300 a square for luxury homes, and they're going to go nuts. And we're going to be selling big-time properties with that. And so, to your point with your broker learning about the Bitcoin and EXP being on the forefront of that, how about our reload program? Stacey got 6 reload deals last year as they were rolling that thing out. We've already got that this year and more coming, and they come straight through. And what they love about, here's what I love about EXP's reload program works like this. Companies love us because there's only one point of contact. They're contacting one person at corporate who then comes through and filters through which agent within EXP is going to be the best fit for the company to go interview for the spot, right? So companies aren't out there having to have, all these different agents in all these different places. They have one point of contact, one liaison, and they love it. And that's thankful to Glenn for setting up the way it is, because we're not a franchise model, right? We're one big broker. I also love EXP's express offers deal.
Yeah.
Right? Express offers, we're competing as agents against the Open Doors and the Hot Pads and all the other ones that are out there. And EXP is not cutting the agent out. If you're watching this and you're an agent, check this out. You can bring the deal to express offers, right? Your seller has a house that just, needs fixed up and everything like that. You can bring it to express offers. There are investors there who will buy it from you, let you work both sides of the deal, and then turn around and flip it and sell it with you. I hope you caught that. You represent on both sides on this end.
Yep.
And then turn around, they'll flip it and sell it with you. You get 3 transactions for 1. And that's amazing. And that's going up against all those other iBuyer programs. It destroys every other program out there. And so those 2 things, along with things like the crypto, that's why we love EXP. Our model is completely different.
Yeah.
We are one big brokerage versus all those little independent offices all over the place that are franchises. We don't have to deal with all that bureaucracy. Cut right through the red tape. We can move faster. We're more agile, and we like to have fun.
Yeah. It's a different model. That people don't understand that. There's that misperception out there, I think, with most realtors that, Because again, we get calls all the time. I get emails, whatever. Hey, come check us out. We offer this and this and this, and, whatever. Most people, I think, there's really four things I think that differentiate most, or not differentiate most companies, but when an agent makes a move, I've moved like 4 times in my 20 years, whatever. I'm not one to move. But, it's like, what are the commission splits?
Right.
80, 20, 90, 10, 95, 5, 100%, whatever. What's the cap on that if there is one? A lot of times, you think you have a cap, but there's still the 6%, franchise fee on every deal or whatever. What's the monthly bill? $50 a month, $500 a month, or whatever. And then what do I get for all that? And so people will move around. The grass is greener over here because I'm on a better split. Or, I get asked that question all the time. I'll call an agent. Hey, have you seen the 2022 EXP business presentation? Well, no, but what are your splits? Well, what's the cap on that? Well, all this kind of stuff. Well, do I get leads? Like, you just need to see this because it's a completely different model.
I love when we add in the commission split that you guys have. I go, it's better than 100% if you're a producer.
Well, that's impossible.
If you're a producer, it's better than 100% split. You get paid to be at EXP if you're a producer. And if you're not a producer, you work your way up to being a producer. And we've got the best overall compensation plan in the industry because it's multiple streams of cash flow, not just one. If you're just focused on what's your split, look, we left 100% split brokerage to come here because we knew we were losing money. This is going to sound crazy when I tell people this, but I'm going to say it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year we were losing being at 100% split transaction-based brokerage. Yep. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. That's the difference, right? Yeah. And so it doesn't matter.
People don't understand that. And here's what here's what I would say. Anybody watching this, listening to this, whatever, like just you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, you owe it to your business to look at this. Just look. If you're friends with Jim, Jim, you've done a deal with Jim, like call Jim. Jim, all right, I saw your interview. Like show me this model. And then decide for yourself. You're making assumptions right now on these little bits and pieces that or that you think but you don't know what you don't know.
I love this saying. Yeah. Don't get emotional. It's just math. Because look, it was emotional. Do you know my wife cried when we left our last broker? Cried. Mm-hmm. He was like a brother to us, still a friend of ours and things like that. Sure. But that's how close we were integrated there. And it was emotional. And we had to focus on the math or we couldn't leave. Because they were friends, they were a family, right? But it was the math. And when we sat down and put the pen to paper, when we saw it, we're like, we have to leave. We don't want to.
Yeah, it's funny because when my friend Sean, called me to take a look at it 4 years ago, and I'm like, I told him flat out on the phone, like, look, I'll look. I'm always open to looking. Again, you don't know what you don't know. I've said no to plenty of things, but I'll always look. If somebody called me today to look at something, I'd look.
Successful people always look, Jeff.
Sure.
The most successful people I've ever met in the world, they always look at everything. They don't always do everything. In fact, they say no to 99%, but they always look. They always have a healthy curiosity to just look. And that's all I tell people. Look, I don't want you to move because of me. I don't want you to look because of me. I'm just telling you, aren't you curious? Aren't you curious? Don't you want to know why? Well, I already know what it's all about. I go, really? Then tell me. And I'm like, you've got it. You've got it all wrong. Don't you want to get the real information?
Yep. Or they've heard, they've heard different things. There's a lot of misinformation out there right now, Yeah. I mean, and I get it. We got a little target on our back, I think, because of, we're grown by 1,000 agents a week. I mean,
hey, so when Century 21 came out, they had a target on their back. When Remax first came out, they had one on their back.
Keller
when KW came out, they had one on their back.
Totally.
But I take it as a compliment, but the thing about it is this: Glenn Sanford is a visionary. And when he created this business, he did not want agents. He saw a problem. Agents didn't have a retirement. He was talking directly to Stacey and I. You don't have a retirement. What are you going to do? Sell houses until you die? That was our plan. Yeah. And sure, that sounded great in our 40s. Stacey wasn't in her 40s. She's 29. But in your 50s, all of a sudden you're thinking, I'm going to do this another 20 years, and then I'm going to be hustling against 20 and 30-year-olds, and I'm going to be in my 70s selling houses because I have to. I still think I'll probably sell houses because I want to, but I never want to be in a position where I'm selling because I have to. Oh, that would be horrific.
And
And
that's where most
3
people
short
are.
years, Jeff, funny thing on this, 3 short years,
Mm-hmm.
our residual income check now, which is, I guess they call it leveraged income, right? Our revenue share check, getting
Yeah.
paid off the revenue every month that comes in, more than covers all of our expenses. In fact, that's how we were able to spend. We used our revenue share checks last year to go to the islands and spend time down there. That's what we used it for, because it was free. It's extra money coming in we never accounted for. So we took vacations on them every month.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and to build that up, multiple streams of income. I think the average millionaire, one of Robert Kiyosaki's books, I think, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income.
Yeah.
Most realtors have 1, and it's check to check, commission to commission, whatever. And is it okay? Here we're going to get 2 on, because of the stock bonuses that we all get. You at least build up that one. But then you have the option for a third one.
We had no idea how big the stock play would be. I mean, we'd been in the
Yeah.
stock market and things like that. When everything crashed, we had to sell it all. So we were starting over, right? We cashed 401ks. We did everything nuts. But
Yeah.
we had no idea how big the stock play would be, how fast it adds up. Being gifted stock for selling a house, for capping out, for introducing an agent. You get stock for introducing agent. We introduced agents all the time to our old brokers. What they give us, a Starbucks gift card or something like that, right? That was it.
Thank you.
And then when you hit Icon agent, look, if you're an agent out there, and I don't know Jeff's numbers, but I'll tell you here in Columbus, Ohio, if you're an agent out there doing about 30 transactions a year, which is an above average agent here, you will not only work at 100% commission, but you'll be getting equity in the company, that as the stock goes up, you'll build equity in the company. And what happened, the stock took a big run for Stacey and I. This is an interesting story. Our Icon Award stock, you'll love this, Jeff. Our very first Icon Award that we got, we took that stock. It's $16,000 award for those of you who are out there wondering.
Sure.
And because the stock went on such a run, we took it and bought Stacey a Maserati with it during the middle of the in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah, in the middle of the pandemic, we flew to Washington, D.C. There were two Maseratis she won. One was in L.A., the other was in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And we're like, you know what? This will be a great story. We're watching the news. We're going to die anyways, right? Because that's what the news had as our brain had us all messed up watching the news. We're like, if we're going to die, we're going to die in a Maserati. Flew her same day, got on a plane, flew to D.C. from Columbus. Takes like 55 minutes to get into D.C. Ghost town, right? We're like 4 people on the plane. We get in there, go into a dealership, get a Maserati, drive it home, back in home in time for dinner because the freeways were empty too.
Yeah.
And so, we got a Maserati is smack dab in the middle of a COVID pandemic of 2020.
Wow.
And
And
it was
paid for by your stock bonus from EXP.
So people that poo-poo the stock, okay, well, it's $16,000 stock. Yeah, well, it went on a run and it was worth a Maserati. So there you go. That's what you missed out on.
Yeah. For us, we've been here 4 years. I haven't cashed out 1 share of it yet, but I love that it's there if I need to.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm letting it ride. I think the stock, who knows over the next 5 years what that's going to look like, over the next 10 years. I think it's going to be doing this as it does this over time. I mean, the forecast is nothing but great, for the stock. And it's not, here's the one thing, guys, just to share, like it's EXP World Holdings. You can track it, EXPI. On the NASDAQ traded stock, but it's all these different entities under that. It's not just EXP Real Estate. I was with an agent here a few weeks ago. I just don't want to buy stock in real estate. I just don't trust the real estate market. And look, I get it. Like, okay. But, EXP Realty is just one arm of EXP World Holdings. Verbella's in there. Verbella is our cloud campus.
Success Magazine.
Success Magazine. Yeah, it's in there. There's all the EXP Commercial is in there. That's exploding.
Here's the thing I always tell them. I go, so you're telling me if someone gave you stock, you wouldn't take it? Well, no, I'm not saying that, because that was the big misnomer. So there was a broker here in Columbus that was spreading this rumor that they're forcing you to buy the stock. That's why I said there's 5 ways to get stock. Yeah. One includes where you can purchase stock at a 10% discount. It's optional, but the reason you think everyone does it is because everyone does it. It's 5% off the top of your commission. You can buy it at 10% discount. Make 10% on your money in 30 days. Yeah. Who wouldn't do that if you want to cash it out? But let's just take that off the table. 4 other ways where it's gifted to you. It's given to you. I said, who's spreading this? We know who it is. We won't say their name on here. But I'm like, you're just spreading misinformation at best and lies at worst. It's not true.
Yeah.
You're being gifted stock. And by the way, one gifted stock. Stacey's icon award bought a Maserati, so that's why we have that on her license plate, because it was one of the reasons we did that. Oh,
Yeah.
the stock, they're penny stocks. I go, really? Yeah, the Maserati. There you go.
Yeah, I'll take it.
She loves that car.
I've shared this story in here before, but you haven't heard this. This has probably been 6-8 months ago. But there was it was a Remax agent that I was meeting with here in town, and again, not the stock thing. She's like, well, what if it goes to $1? I said, well, then I guess I'm a Remax agent. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, how much are they giving you? Okay, well, I guess you're right. I'm like, exactly. And let me just share this, guys. If you've followed us at all, our fourth quarter earnings came out here about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Glenn Sanford, he tweeted out, last year, 2021, $50 million in equity, stock bonuses given back out to the EXP agents. Okay, that's awesome. 170 million given back out in the revenue share piece, in revenues. Because again, you think about this, and if you just understand this, guys, because we're owners in the company, right? We get these stock bonuses. We're all owners here. Well, your broker owner where you work right now, they get a piece of your commission. They get shares of the revenue all the time. All the owners of your company do that. Well, we're owners, so we can participate. We can get shares in the revenue if we want to help build the company. So, all you guys do is recruit. No, there's about 5% of the agents who are doing any recruiting at all over here, whatever. But I'm not, I feel like, what, here's a recruiter? Absolutely. Because I'm showing them a better way. That's what I love. I have no problem calling agents because I know what this can do for people. It allows Jim and his family to go to, the islands for 3 months out of the year. It allows them to buy a Maserati if they want to do that. Whatever. There's backup plans. And you can start building retirement because you lost all that years ago.
Yeah. And, now we're sitting on a nest egg of stock, and then also a monthly cash flow stream coming in, whether we sell a house or not. We have this cash flow stream. I couldn't stop it if I wanted to right now, the way the money coming in like that. And here's the thing. If you're a parent out there, no one ever talks about this, but Stacey and I are parents, and one day we'll be grandparents. Not yet. We're not too young to be grandparents right now. But anyways, we can will this off. Yeah. Like, here's the thing I'll tell you as a man, you'll like this, Jeff, being a husband and a father. Look, I could get hit by a truck today. I've been with the company for 3 years. I'm fully vested, and God forbid that happens. Let's hope that doesn't happen today. If I get hit by a truck today, I know my family is taken care of.
Yep,
they will never be destitute ever again, because that monthly check comes in every single month from the work that I've done, from just introducing a handful of agents. Introduced a handful, who introduced another handful, who introduced another handful. And, I was looking at our check today. And I don't even know if we're allowed to say this or not, but I'm expecting it to be somewhere around 11, 12 grand this month. Yeah. And Stacey and I have introduced 20 agents agents in 3.5 years.
That's awesome.
It's actually 22 now. We had no one join. So 22 in 3.5 years. Yeah. And we're not talking about living in LA or New York or something. This is Central Ohio. The average sales price, couple hundred grand for houses, right?
Yeah. That's powerful.
It's huge.
Good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate getting on here. Any last thing you want to share before we wrap it up? You got a great story. I really appreciate what you're doing. You're doing big things. One of the
reasons Stacey and I joined EXP was the flow of superstar agents that were moving to it, right? We saw all of them move. People like you, Jeff, you and your wife, right? I mean, a couple decades in the business, moving to this EXP. What's EXP? And then we find out it's EXP. They weren't even in our MLS yet, right? In different parts of Ohio. We're like, what is it? What is this thing going on? And we saw, Brent Gove move over, Jay Kinder move over, right? Jay Nelson. We see these huge names who were, they were with their broker. They were never going to leave their brokers, and they left. And we're like, what is going on here? And I'm so grateful that my friend from Chicago, John, took the time out to pester me a little bit to just take a look. And I'll always owe him a debt of gratitude for doing that, for just getting me to look, because we weren't going anywhere. We were stuck in there. And I tell you this is all I want to add. Just take a look. If you haven't looked, just take a look. It might be right for you. It might not be right for you. But here's what I know, just like Jeff said earlier, successful people always look, and just find out the information for yourself. Get with Jeff. He'll show it to you. He's not a high pressure guy. Everybody who knows me is watching this. I'm as laid back comes. You don't want to do it? We're totally cool. Let's go get a beer and some wings, right? That's how I run. Absolutely. And I thank you for having me on today. And Stacey apologizes for not being on there. She's hustling, doing the real estate.
There you go. Well, I appreciate your time, Jim. You guys are doing some great things. So, guys, again, we're doing this, every week. If you haven't done it yet, go to my YouTube page. You can like these videos. Comment on it if you have any questions for Jim, myself, whatever. We'll definitely get them answered for you. Come back to us, but subscribe on the YouTube page as well, so you don't miss out on these great nuggets all the time. We appreciate your time, Jim. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for
Have a
having
great
me on,
rest of your
Jeff.
week.
I'll
right?
see you in Orlando in June.
Orlando, be down there in June. Shareholders, we're shareholders now. We got to go to shareholders meetings.
Shareholders convention, and I'm looking forward to taking over Universal Studios. I think they got like the whole park.
We're getting the whole park for EXP. Like, how cool is that?
That's going to be awesome.
It will be.
All right,
awesome.
brother.
So
Thanks for having me on.
Man. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Have a great week, guys. We'll see you.